So One Piece chapter 1016 has come out and it is called This is Otama. And it's a little weird for me saying chapter 1000 because I'm used to reviewing other series. I've reviewed other series, but I'm used to it being like chapter 300 or whatever, but just 1000. It just feels off. But regardless, the cover page of this chapter shows Zoro and some random shinobi cat like being all meditative or whatever, while they're suddenly attacked from underneath them with these giant blades all sticking out. And I just love the idea of Zoro trying to do something like that. And I feel like while he's doing that, in reality he was just sleeping and they disrupted his sleep. And it's a nice little introduction to this chapter. But anyway, we cut to the actual chapter back in the Flower Capital. Everyone's raving about it. It's all very happy, whether or not that's through the smile fruit or not, who knows, but it is the Fire Festival, and so they are celebrating the dead, and they have a giant bonfire, like covering up half of the sky. And Hitetsu is like, "Oh, isn't this beautiful, Toko?" And she's like, "Yep, oh, it sure is." And they say that the Fire Festival is something that celebrates the dead and honors them, and the fire is there. It's so big because they want them up in the heavens to see it. And Toko is like, "Oh, I hope my daddy can see it." And then she laughs, but it's right here, this is where I really start to see the effects of the smile fruit, because she's smiling here, of course, but is she really smiling in reality, or is she more saddened about it? I know that a while ago we saw how they smiled and cried and whatever, and it's the reveal of the smile fruit that really hit home. But this, for me, for some reason, I got like shivers or whatever. I got goosebumps while reading this, just because you don't know if she's smiling or not, and that's the whole point. But there's something about this, because it's such a bittersweet moment. I guess it's supposed to be a sad but cheerful moment anyway. The whole scenario, the whole fire festival itself is supposed to have that like sad and happy vibe going on. And so her being forced to smile really does complement that in a thematic way, because we don't know what she is feeling. Some of them are smiling, some of them would be sad during this, and we can't really tell with her. There's no tears, so it's not like she's insanely sad, but there's no way that a smile like that would be natural. But I'm sure that there could be a normal smile. I don't know, just something about it. It feels off to me, and I like it. But anyway, he's like, "Oh, with the sky so clear as it is tonight, I'm sure he can see it." And he wants to see what happens to the future of Wano. And so after that, we cut back, obviously, to Onigashima. And this is something a little bit interesting. People have finally taken note of the sword, which we saw this while they were entering Wano to begin with. When they were not entering Wano, but when they were entering Onigashima to have the final battle, we see the giant sword, which is most likely held by the skull of whoever or whatever it is. And it's interesting that people are just finally taking note of that. But I feel like, I'm going to make a video about this soon, but I feel like that there's some other big reason to this being here. Whether or not, I don't know if it'll be the future of One Piece. Maybe they'll have to fight a future villain that is one of these species. Or at the very least, I think this is a very important figure in the history of the One Piece world. Whoever or whatever this is, there's a reason why Kaido chose this place. And yeah, again, I get to that in another video, so check that out when it comes out. But now we're into the castle where CP9 is, and the guy who with the almost cowboy-looking hat with the black eye and the white eye, he almost has like a Monokuma aesthetic going on. He's like, even though their Straw Hat Luffy, their leader, has fallen, they still don't give up. Their morale and fight is still within them for some reason. And he says that in total, 5,000 soldiers have fallen, which means that the forces on either side for the villains is 24,000, while the heroes only have 3,000. But then he takes note of the people changing sides with Queen. So the actual numbers are 20,000 for the bad guys and 7,000 for the good guys. And that takes them did I say CP9 earlier? It takes CP0 off by surprise. And he says that the state of the battle is changing with every new information being given, and it's really unclear who will win this battle. And I mean, because it's a manga shonen anime, obviously the heroes are going to win, but in their world, yeah, honestly, who really knows? It's been a really back and forth battle, and honestly, Kaido's side, despite having the numbers, there's no one really strong to oppose the heroes other than Kaido and Big Mom. But Big Mom is, honestly, she's kind of a pushover for some reason. She really doesn't seem threatening anymore. So there does need to be some kind of power with Kaido's side, which I assume CP9 will be after this battle kind of takes place. You know, there'll be a bit of a calm moment, I think, soon. And it's after that, when they come into action, I believe that there will be a rematch between, obviously, Luffy and Rob. That will be really cool. And probably Sanji versus Kaku as well. And that will definitely make the sides a bit more balanced. Because they haven't really fought at all yet, so they're at full strength. Meanwhile, the heroes are absolutely dying, and so them joining the forces will really make things a bit more even, and honestly, Kaido may even win this battle if they do decide to join. We get Bao, who finds out that Momonosuke has fallen off of the island, so in the last chapter, when Kaido swings his weapon, Shinobu puts her hand on the ground, which should make them sink into the ground, but I guess it just wasn't enough. Kaido shattered the land enough that they just couldn't escape. So they did, in fact, fall off of the island, much like Luffy. And that's very bad for them because Shinobu, yes, she's strong, but she has a devil fruit, so she couldn't swim. Momonosuke has one as well. So unless he's able to fly them away, which he does know how to fly, they're in some big trouble. But most likely, they'll probably fall into the water, or almost like they'll get close to the water, but then he'll fly themselves to land. From there, they'll meet up with Luffy, and that is how they would get back up to the top. Because the question was, how will Luffy return to the battle, unless the battle decides to take place on land later? But most likely, he'd ride on with Momonosuke. He'll probably get a new form of some kind, and they'll be able to fly themselves up all the way back to Onigashima to finish the battle versus Kaido. So that kind of does explain how Luffy gets back. But there's the horse with her, and he's like, oh, that's amazing. The samurai are going to lose their morale. Finally, it's about time. And then Bao's like, yeah, let's go break their spirits. Oh, yeah. So she's getting ready to make an announcement. But somewhere else on the same floor, we cut back to Nami, Usopp, and Otama. And Nami's kind of freaking out. She's like, why is my baton talking? What is going on? Am I that much of a genius? Oh my God, I'm just so good. But then Zeus is like, no, it's me. For the 10th time, I'm Zeus. You did not make me. You're not that smart. Good Lord. She says, why the hell are you on my climatat? Jesus Christ. And so Zeus explains that after his body was being absorbed by, what's her name? The Hera, the replacement of Zeus that Big Mom made. When Nami shot out her black balls, Zeus kind of got absorbed by them in a way, and he got transferred into the climatat, which then gave birth kind of to a new Zeus in a way, but not really. His consciousness is just now into the climatat. And Nami's like, well, I didn't sign up for this. I don't want an annoying little climatat. Jesus Christ, and I haven't even forgiven you either. Zeus is like, no, please, no, I don't have anywhere else to go. Big Mama won't take me back. Please keep me. And he says that he can't leave without her orders, which this has confused a lot of people. They wonder why Zeus is able to do this, why he's able to transfer his consciousness without Big Mom doing it, and why he's able to help them in the first place. And what are they called? I believe they're called the homies, right? The homies are autonomous. They can control themselves on their own. They are living creatures. Yes, they may be a part of Big Mama's soul, but they can think for themselves. However, Big Mom can control them when she wants to. And they're not really able to control themselves in that sense. They're not able to transfer the consciousness from object to object. That is what Mom can do. She can manipulate the souls and control them. Meanwhile, they are just living creatures. And so what happened with Nami and the climatat was, in Zeus, that was just a complete accident coincidence. He didn't do that on his own. That's something that just happened. Otherwise, Big Mom would have to intervene and do that. So Zeus is stuck there until Big Mom takes him out. And people are a little bit more confused because later on they do an attack together where Zeus kind of gets out of the climatat, but in reality he's still connected to it. So the only person who can manipulate the soul by transferring consciousness to another object is Big Mom. Otherwise he's stuck there, but he can still think for himself. But now both Bao and Usopp, Nami, and Tama have all reached the stage. And Bayo is right about to give the announcement. She's like, "Hello everyone to Onigashima. I have more wonderful news for you. Your wonderful leader, Momono," before she gets interrupted. The horse is like, "Hey, Bayo, right behind you. It's the Straw Hats." And so they're interrupted from making the speech, but the Straw Hats are also interrupted from a sudden Ulti comes out of nowhere and just headbutts Usopp to, it should be death. People are a little annoyed that Kinemon is alive by getting like Negan'd by Kaido and then getting stabbed in the back by him, but Usopp took 2 full-powered headbutts by Ulti and he's still alive. That is something that just doesn't make any sense. Kinemon, nah. Easy survival rate compared to what happened to Usopp. There's no way anyone should live, but it's Usopp. He always makes it out alive. But Tama gets like thrown out of his hands and caught by Ulti. She's like, "It's all because of her, isn't it? Everybody's following her orders. She's the one who hurts Pei. I'm gonna kill you." And Nami's kind of freaking out. She's like, "How is this lady still standing? She got beat by Big Mom. This doesn't make any sense." And so she goes to swing her Climatat, and suddenly Zeus, in like a spike ball form, comes out and just bashes Ulti in the side and knocks her flying. Actually, no, he doesn't even knock her flying. She's just standing there kind of like, "Oh, Jesus Christ." And Zeus is like, "Okay, I can do this now because I can. I'm just here to help." But he's like, "I can't really do much to her though. She's got some really strong skin. However, the inside of her is most likely damaged due to Big Mom. So one more big hit will take her down." However, Nami's like, "I can't really do that with her holding Tama. Otherwise, I would just kill a little girl. I can't really do that." But out of nowhere, something hits Ulti in the chest, and suddenly a giant burst of flowers comes out of her, separating the two, and we find out that it's Usopp with one of his lethal green stars, Sagaraso. And so Nami prepares for a thundercloud, and Zeus comes out of the Climatat, and Nami yells, "What, Zeus?" He's like, "Nope, not anymore. My name is not Zeus. Nami, give me a new name." And she goes, "How about Cotton?" And he just sits there like, "My name is Zeus, and I am Nami's right-hand man." And the joke is, Cotton. No. For a deadly, like, spike ball lightning cloud guy, Cotton is the best she could come up with. And so she's like, "All right, whatever, let's do this, Zeus." And so, like Ash and Pikachu, Nami swings her Climatat to the ground, yelling Thunderbolt, and Zeus just attacks the ground, attacking Ulti and destroying everything around. However, she jumps out of the way and dodges it, but out of nowhere, he just changes course of direction and swings behind her and just pierces right through her, absolutely destroying her. And so Nami, while that was happening, she's like, "Oh my god, I missed." Ulti goes, "Oh, it's over now." But Zeus goes, "Nah, dude, I'm here to help you and support you, and that means attacking where you want to attack." And so he is able to control where he attacks, which is pretty crazy. That is a major upgrade for Nami and the Climatat, which is something that we haven't seen before. Like, Nami has been very, very useless. Sure, back in Paradise, whatever. Nami is kind of strong over there, but in the new world, compared to everyone else, way too weak. Absolutely, she is just fodder. But with this, it gives her at least a slight advantage because she has part of the soul of one of the 4 emperors on her side. So it really does help her out quite a bit. It gives her a major power boost because now she's able to have homing attacks essentially. And if Usopp upgrades the Climatat further to give more support to Zeus, that could be even more powerful because he's able to change his shape and become like actual spike balls. So who knows what else he can turn into. Because he is the Climatat, I think that he can become more than just lightning, right? With the spike ball, like I just said. So Usopp and Frankie could probably manipulate the Climatat to become something more, to give more variety and range to what Zeus can do. So I'm pretty excited for the future of Nami and her weapons and stuff. So that's a first, being excited for something Nami related. But anyway, Ulti goes absolutely down and Bao is like, what? They defeated Ulti? That is 2 of the 6 down. They defeated Page 1 and her? That's kind of insane. And accidentally, she's announcing this to everyone on the battlefield. And so her original intent was to defeat the enemy's morale and just tear it down by announcing Momonosuke's like fall from the island, but instead she tears their own morale down by saying that 2 of the 6 flying like leaders are defeated. And so her and the horseman are kind of freaking out. They're like, oh my god, I just announced this to the world. Ah, shoot. But then she yells, oh my god, it's a monster. And whatever Usopp shot out turned into a giant man-eating plant and just has Ulti in its mouth. And it's, poor Ulti, I like her, but poor her. But Usopp is like, hey, Tama, I don't really understand what's going on, but that lady with the eye, Bao, is somehow able to communicate to everyone else in the island. So you should give your orders now, because that's what they were originally going for. That's why they were running down the halls. They were trying to find the other beastmen that they have taken over to convert them into the heroes' side, because technically they're not really with the heroes yet. Even though they ate the Dongo, they're not really like good guys yet. They still have their own will, but they can't refuse any order by Tama. So that's why they need to announce and command them. And so Otama goes, this is Otama. And she presumably gives the command, because we don't see what happens after, because we cut to Kaido. But now Kaido facing off against Yamato, he says, oh, the Straw Hat, their leader is already dead. He's like, if you're going to play this game, you should know how to protect your pieces. You even removed your chains. Do you have no respect for me? And do you think that you can just leave my grasp? Then Yamato yells, yes, of course. I want to leave and sail the seas with Luffy and his gang after I drive you out of Wano, Kaido. And so this is where, again, people are a little split for Yamato's joining of the Straw Hats. Some people just don't think it's realistic. Some people just don't like her. And that's very surprising to me. I think that she's a really cool character, and I think that she fits right in with the Straw Hats. Yes, they haven't been introduced to her yet. Literally only Luffy has met her, and he's like on the fence about her. So there's not too much to like relationship-wise between them all. There's not too much there, but when they find out about Ace and the history with her, I'm sure that that'll be an easy like connection to make with everyone. And I'm sure later on this Kaido battle may expand and more people might get involved with this. And so thus the others will be able to see Yamato fight against Kaido. And that'll not only give them some opportunity to see her, but it'll most likely this battle between Kaido and Yamato will make Luffy respect her a lot more. And there's a big debate between Carrot and Yamato joining the Straw Hats. And it has people saying like, oh, how don't you realize this by now? Every single arc, there's like a Straw Hat bait, essentially. There's always a character who's introduced who seems like they're going to join, but never do. Kinemon is this one for this arc. Carrot is the previous arc. Vivi was that way back in Arabasta. And every arc, yes, they do have some kind of like bait almost, if you will, where they almost seem like they're going to join, but they never do. However, Jinbei was that bait, and he still ended up joining in the end. And Vivi is someone who I still think kind of should have joined the Straw Hats, but at the same time it makes sense. She doesn't really do anything. I just like her. But Yamato makes a lot of sense to join the Straw Hats. She's not only strong, she has a good connection to Wano and the Four Emperors, and she just vibes really well with Luffy, and they have a really good energy together. However, speaking of the power thing, a lot of people say that they are way too strong if they have her on their side, because in this next page, in the final panel, we get a giant shot of them finally clashing, and it has a giant hockey blast, like the electricity just goes flying everywhere. And so she is definitely at equal footing with Kaido. So for now anyway, has similar power to him. And so people think that it's a little bit too strong, the Straw Hats. But then again, we are only like halfway through the new world. We still have so much more to go to. They are underleveled right now, the Straw Hats. Yes, they're able to hold off their own against 2 emperors, which I find is a little ridiculous, but they have an entire army with them. Chances are they won't have that army next time. If they didn't have the army, they would be destroyed instantly. It doesn't matter, they would not be standing where they are. The Straw Hats are not overpowered. They are quite underpowered. And having Yamato join the Straw Hats makes a lot of sense power-wise, because we still have to go up against people like Blackbeard, which is one of the 4 emperors and arguably the strongest of them all. And I believe that Enel and Crocodile, all the old villains, are going to come back even stronger, most likely under the reign of Blackbeard. And it'll almost be like a boss rush. So with all of their evolved Devil Fruit powers, because remember, they weren't even evolved. They were just the basic whatever Devil Fruits. So I feel like once they return, the Straw Hats would get wiped out instantly. So they do need a big power jump scale here. Yamato would be a great addition in terms of like power scaling wise. We need somebody strong. But what's interesting is Kaido says, "No, I'm not going anywhere, Yamato. I chose Kaido for a specific reason. This is a special land." And then he says, "You have no chance against me. Give up now and become the shogun of this land." She's like, "Oh yeah, no. I know I'm not going to win, but I'm only going to fight you until I can hold off as long as it takes for Luffy to get back." Because Luffy is the one that Odin was waiting for. And that kind of throws Kaido off guard just by a little bit. He has like a ... response. So it seems like that he never told her like the prophecy at all. So it's interesting that she knows about it. But just to finish up the chapter, Kaido says one last thing, and it's, "I am not going easy on you." And that is when the clash happens and the giant like electricity hockey goes flying out. And that is the chapter. I should also mention that next week there will not be a chapter. There will be a chapter next out on the 27th, not the 20th. So we'll have to wait yet another week before we get the next chapter. Or another 2 weeks, rather, which that seems to be basically at least once a month that happens. But a lot of people are talking about the journal, Odin's journal, and what it says inside. I believe Oda has said that there will be a lot of information given at the end of this arc, so that is most likely what's in the journal. But I feel like there'll be a lot of Wano stuff, a lot of Wano history being told through that. It's not like we're going to find out the location of the One Piece. He obviously didn't write that down. We're not going to find out the hidden lore of the missing 100 years. We're not going to get that. I feel like we might get the final location of the red poneglyph. But it's very interesting how we can tell with this, he didn't tell her anything about the prophecy. So there must be a reason why he didn't tell her. And there must be a reason why he chose Wano. And I'm excited to find out what that reason is. So if you enjoyed this chapter, give me a like. Tell me what you liked about it. What did you like? What you didn't like? And if you enjoyed this video, how about you give it a like? And if you enjoyed that, subscribe for more One Piece content because I'm going to be making a lot more. So anyway, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.